This is the podium. Then right next to it, and then it's like a U here where I am. The audience. So você vai tudo, né? Just one more ah, eu vou fazer uma oração oficial. É você que funciona. Amaharani Hamdumarimasu Hamdumari Hamuromi Motomoshite Someniyoya Kami Sanagino Mikoto Tsukushino Himukano Tachihanano Odono Ahadi Harani Isoki Harari Kamo Dokinari Maseru Harari Dozo Hamitachi Moromono Nagabuto Tsuke Gareo Hakai Namare Kirome Tamare Tomao Suro Zono Yoshio Amasu Kami Tumitsu Kami Aoyo Suno Kami Tachi Tomo Rima Uchi Kamano Mifuri Katete Ikoshime Seto Ashikomi Kashikomi Tomarusu Iroku Mikami Mamori Tamae Saki Hare Tamae Miroku Mikami Mamori Tamae Saki Hare Tamae Oshie Oyanushi no Kami Mamori Tamae Saki Hare Tamae Oshie Oyanushi no Kami Mamori Tamae Saki Hare Tamae Nagara Damachi Hare Mase Nagara Damachi Hare Mase
You have a service.
Good morning. For all who are here with us at our headquarters, as well as you who are able to join us online, welcome to the Miroku Association Monthly Appreciation Service. We have gathered today to express our gratitude to God and Meishu-sama for the protection, help, and countless blessings we have received this past month, and to ask permission to serve the divine plan throughout this coming month. During the service, the Zoom chat will be updated with all prayers and Meixo Sama's teaching. You can find this feature at the bottom of your computer screen. If you're using a cell phone or tablet, click on More and then Chat to view the prayers and teaching. We will begin our service today with the presentation of offerings to God. Please, be seated and pray along silently for the opening prayer.
Great God of light, with our deepest respect, we have gathered here at the Miroku Association headquarters to celebrate our monthly appreciation service. We humbly offer you appreciation for the protection, help, and counsel we have received this past month, and to ask for permission, guidance, and inspiration to continue serving in your divine work. Paradise on earth. Please let the materialization of our gratitude through our in-person and virtual presence, our monetary offerings, and by friends. Please give us this wisdom to practice this year's directive in our everyday life, following the example of Meixo Sama's great love. Let us build a strong faith within our the sincere service for the salvation of humanity through our basic practices of faith, attending service, giving and receiving joy, guiding our family and friends, volunteering our time and labor, and providing are the essence of our construction of paradise on earth. May we receive greater light and spiritual strength to realize Meixo Sama's ideals in our hearts, our homes, and our communities, so we become most effective instruments bringing your divine light and happiness to everyone around us. Please allow us to spread the desire to create paradise on earth May the new and everlasting peace, where love, goodwill, and understanding prevail, soon become a reality.
Please join us for the Amatsu Norito and Miroku prayer.
Taka amahara ni kamuzumarimasu. Kamuromi no mikoto mochite. Sumemi oya kamuisa no mikoto. Tsukushi no imuka no tachihana no Viharani Miso Viharai Namo Dogini Nari Maseru Harai Dono Kamitachi Moro Moro no Anagudo Sumi Kegareo Harai Tamae Kiyome Tamae Tomao Sukoto no Yoshiro Amatsu Kami Kunitsu Kami Yao Yorosu no Kami Tashi Tomoni Ame no Uchikoma no Mini Furi Tatete Kikoshime Seto Kashikomi momaosu. Miroku o mikami Mamori tamae sakihae tamae. Miroku o mikami Mamori tamae sakihae tamae. Oshie mi oya nushi no kami Mamori tamae sakihae tamae. Oshie mi oya nushi no kami Mamori tamae sakihae tamae. Nagara Tamashira Nagara Tamashira. Great God of light, creator and giver of all life, in accordance with your divine will, the long age of night draws to an end. Your radiant divine light, shining ever more brilliantly, awakens the dawn of the glorious age of light. a time long awaited by all humanity. We thank you for guiding us in your divine plan and for the privilege of journeying and receiving joy. May our spirits and bodies be illuminated and purified as we live your truth given to us by nation's Son. Make us pure and effective instruments of your divine light, so that we may serve you and all those with whom we come in contact. May paradise on earth be realized, with health, peace, and prosperity, a reality in our lives. May God of light bless and protect us, radiate our souls with your divine light, so that we may truly become instruments of your great plan.
Please be seated. We will now receive group jury.
May God the Messiah bless you.
Let us listen to Meishu Sama's teaching entitled The Secret of Happiness.
There are probably few individuals in society who can be described as actually happy, fortunate people. Most of the people in the world are suffering in some way, from unemployment, sickness, doubt, and frustration. These types of failures is like being shackled and imprisoned. We may ask ourselves, why God, rather than changing his place where there is more happiness than misery, allows them to suffer. Good and evil have existed since the beginning of the human race. These two forces, completely opposite in nature, have been in constant friction and struggle. Conflict is still going on. Upon careful consideration, we come to realize it is due to the friction between good and evil that today's civilization has attained its present level of progress. People often ask me, if God is love and I can't understand why God allows people to do bad things and commit sinful acts and then punishes them. If God has not created, wouldn't people's judgment and punishment be unnecessary? This logic is quite reasonable, and I myself have sometimes felt the same way. If I were the creator of this world, I could easily give an end. But since I, too, am simply one of God's creations, how can I? None of us can know God's true reason. Let us concentrate instead on how we can find a way to happiness and be a kid to put it into practice. The secret to happiness lies to become happy. This is all that is necessary for us to do. To put it simply, it is to do as much good as possible, to strive to do good deeds whenever one can. We should all do our best to make others happy. For example, a wife should encourage her husband in his work. A husband should be kind to his wife, so she has peace of mind and is happy. It is natural for parents to love their children, but parents should prepare them for adulthood, provide guidance, and be stern when necessary, while respecting their free will. Children should obey their parents with love and respect, and to do their schoolwork with pleasure. In all areas of our daily lives, we should do our best to give hope to those with whom we come in contact. Our attitude at work, both towards those who have higher positions and those who have lower positions, should be the same. We should work with love and consideration for all. Government leaders should have the welfare of the people, not their own interests, as their first concern, and act as good examples. Of course, to the extent of their ability, all people should try their best to do as much good as they can, using all the wisdom they have. Virtuous actions lead to happiness and good fortune. Once individuals who perform good deeds increase, imagine what will happen to our nation and then to all humanity. As a result, unhappy problems will disappear and a paradise on earth free from disease, poverty, and conflict will become a reality. Everyone will then surely experience boundless happiness. However, the world today is full of people who act negatively, telling lies, taking advantage of others, and always thinking of their own interests. To make matters worse, most people tend to think that this state of negativity is a natural one, and they do not dream of doing something to change it for the better. There are even those who try to hinder our attempt to change this world of suffering into a paradise. Such people become unfortunate through their own choice. We pray for them to be awakened to the truth and saved by God. By reflecting deeply on these teachings, we can see that true happiness and fulfillment is not too difficult to attain.
Let's have greetings from the President of Miroco Association, Reverend Marco Negrão.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Miroco Association Headquarters Monthly Appreciation Service. First of all, I'd like to express my deepest gratitude for your support in so many ways. Channeling and receiving joy, guiding your family and friends to become acquainted with Meixo Sama's teachings, materializing your gratitude by making monetary offerings, attending our services in person or online. We are celebrating this beginning of the autumn season and its magnificent colors through the beautiful Sangetsu flower arranging displayed at our altar. This northeastern region of our continent is blessed to have a remarkable change of colors. And for those who don't live in this region, I hope you have a chance someday to enjoy one of the magnificent creations of the Supreme God, such as the autumn colors. In today's teaching, we have the following passages. The secret to happiness lies in helping others to become happy. This is all that is necessary for us to do. To put it simply, it is to do as much good as possible, to strive to do good deeds whenever one can. And also, in all areas of our daily lives, we should do our best to give hope to those with whom we come in contact. Our attitude at work, both toward those who have higher positions, those who have lower positions, should be the same. We should work with love and consideration for all. Yesterday, 4 candidates took their ministerial examination to be ordained as assistant ministers. Ministerial candidates, could you please step forward? I'd like to introduce them. Social distance is not necessary right now. So they are Michael Charney from Midland Park, New Jersey, Ana de Souza from Toronto, Canada, Solange de Oliveira from Orlando, Florida, and Olga Talavera from Broward, also from Florida. Thank you. can now have a seat. No speech from each one of you. So let us pray that they performed well in their written tests. So yes, there was many hours of written tests on Miss Sama's teachings and their individual interviews. Reverend Romilson and I interviewed them. So believe me, they definitely need your prayers. Miss Sama gave extensive oral guidance to his ministers and also wrote about what conduct they should have. Here are some of them. Some time ago, I elaborated the 3 commandments of a minister and had them both placed in our centers. They are: don't be proud, don't be angry, and don't be hasty. If they break one of these commandments, they will not qualify as a minister. Am I doing that? After all, the person will be polished through this practice. Among God's tests, the most important is to make us angry. At the inauguration of the Crystal Hall on December 11th, 1954, Miss Sama made this statement: people who showed outstanding ability to give joy, people who guide a large number of individuals to the church, and people who were of great service to God should be selected, ordained as ministers, and encouraged to become leaders of the church. I believe Miss Sama's wishes that I just mentioned are not limited to ministers, but to all of us who possess the sacred focal point, or Hikari. Another teaching I would like to share with you today is entitled Reverse Effect. This teaching was written on this very day, October 3rd, the year of 1951. Looking at the world in general, we find many instances in which people have not attained the good results they expected, even though they have made earnest efforts and have fully believed in the rightness of what they have been attempting to accomplish. In many cases, this is the situation simply because of their ignorance regarding a reverse effect, that there is such a thing as reason transcending reason. I'm going to explain this, for I believe that those who read this article and grasp its meaning will receive an unexpected benefit from it. There are some people who try to make themselves seem greater than they really are, so they may impress others. I sometimes find such individuals among our members who have been given leading positions. These people, because of their apparent motives, often create exact opposite impressions, for others can easily see through their pretenses. By contrast, those who are modest and reserved in everything they do or say, who are happy and content with simply being themselves, gain the respect and admiration of others. Also, there are individuals who like to brag about their own exploits. They are offensive to those who hear them, bringing about effects that are in reverse to those they desire to create. It is not good to make a show of anything. To be pleasantly honest always makes a good impression on others. Also, it is well to express an opinion with reservation, for this too gives an impression of fine character. When someone does favors for others, he or she should never assume a patronizing attitude. For if one does, he or she makes the recipient feel less grateful, decreasing the value of their deeds. The above are just few examples of reverse effects, but the truth of them applies in any situation. If you keep this in mind in whatever you do, I'm sure you will find it very beneficial. Some time ago, someone who was the last person I would wish to see, asked for an interview through a friend of mine. He asked so repeatedly, I finally consented to see him. This individual then asked me, "What kind of God do you worship in your religion?" I said, "Sorry, but I don't know anything about that." His next remark was, "Meishu-sama, I understand that you know everything that is going to happen in the future." I said to him, "I cannot know anything about the future since I'm not God." He seemed to be very disappointed, for he never came again to see me. At one time, I found a piece of land that was for sale, one that I really wished to buy, and I asked how much it was. The owner, trying to take advantage of my strong desire to own it, set an unreasonable high price on it. So I left it alone for some time, keeping the seller in suspense. Eventually, he became anxious and came to ask my intentions. I said I did not need that land anymore. He then named a very reasonable price, and then the sale was made. I used to have occasional visitors who intended to defraud me of some money. When one of these appeared, I would take the initiative and would remark before he could say anything, "Oh, I need money. I'm in a strained condition just now. Do you know of somebody who would lend me some money?" Upon hearing this, the visitor could not say what he had planned and would leave without saying anything at all. When I find someone among my followers who is very promising for our work in the future, I sometimes deliberately treat him with indifference. Then he begins to serve still more earnestly and to do still better work. Such a person is indeed trustworthy, and he will be a valuable instrument for God's cause, so I then give him an important position. There are many more instances. However, I will end this by saying that if you will simply keep the reverse in fact in mind, you will find that is quite useful to you. I want to share this teaching because, as I already shared, they are applicable not just to ministers, but also to our membership at large and regular visitors. Since the theme of our service today is focused on those becoming ministers, I would like to share my own story that I entitled Call to Ministry, which will be in my future book. Before joining the Jory organization as a ministerial trainee, I worked for 2 years in machine shops, and then as a draftsman in a mechanical components factory. I was the youngest of a working section of 20 people, and was the only one doing the drawings for mechanisms. The others would do clerical stuff and dealt with paperwork. During breaks, and occasionally even during working hours, people would come to talk to me. Interestingly, they would talk about their problems, marital problems, emotional problems, and the like. I was only 21 years old, had no life experience. But one thing I could proudly share, that I was a Jory member, and I was, as a Meishu-sama's follower, I was able to channel divine light, as well as share some of the Meishu-sama's teachings I was becoming familiar with. These were the teachings of Meishu-sama, volumes 1 through 5, and his biography entitled Light from the East. These co-workers, I understand now, were used as instruments, since I was feeling more joy in trying to be a help to them than the actual work I was performing as a draftsman. I talked about my intention to my family of becoming a ministerial trainee. My mother was thrilled, but my father was not the least amused. "Why should you quit a promising career for something that would give you no solid financial stability?" he asked. "Was this crazy idea your mother's?" He kept asking. I could understand where he was coming from. I graduated from a top technical high school with partnership with Switzerland. Switzerland is very well known for top precision mechanics. I was studying technology at a college in São Paulo with a full government grant. I was employed in a job where my skills were being applied. And I would give up all of that to become a minister? In order to show him my intentions were pure and sincere, and not my mother's, I began giving him Jorei upon return from college, late in the evening. I would come home close to midnight, because I worked during the day, studying in the evening. Grabbed something to eat, and began giving him Jorei. Many times, my hands fell in exhaustion while trying to give him Jorei. And I did while he was already lying in bed during his sleep. Sometimes he would wake up and see that I was there giving Jorei to him. So this scene happened many times, and that was a strong motive for him to feel I was very serious on becoming a minister. What I didn't know was three things. First, I had to pass a written test on the principles of Jorei and Meixo Sama's teachings. Second, I had to pass an interview before a panel of 12 senior ministers. You were lucky. You had only two. 12. And third, I didn't know if I had vocation. 40 candidates took the tests and interviews. 9 passed, and I was one of them. The truth is, I barely passed, but I didn't make it. As soon as the training began, I knew that was going to be a very serious job and mission. However, because my humorous side part of me, I didn't know if I would survive the training program, being unable to create laughter around me. When in a matter of days, I realized that I could just be myself, and my jokes and the training were not going to clash with each other. In fact, they would work well together, side by side. Just a few months passed, and my parents came to visit me in the center I was training. My father saw how positive and radiant I was, which gave him certainty I made the right decision. He heard comments that sounded as music for his ears, especially words from the senior ladies. Oh, are you Marco's father? Oh, thank you, sir, for producing a son that is helping us so much here. Or, oh, your son is giving me every day wonderful Jorei sessions, and the like. Eventually, with so much praise from the members, he felt like a hot air balloon of being so big and proud of me studying to become a minister and giving me his full support ever since. Mr. Sama will be happy if he sees we are making efforts for our self-improvement. Right now, I would like to share a faith experience. This faith experience is from Isabel Miguel Azevedo. She's from the Angola Kiluanje Jorei Center in Angola, Africa. Isabel is a missionary, and she gives service helping record and edit faith experience. A very important mission, to record and edit faith experiences. She would like to share with us her own faith experience, which is related to opening her heart to her minister and having docility and fulfilling a guidance she received to delve deeply into our basic practice of faith. In December 2018, she was blessed to get married. After a few months, she realized that she had difficulty in getting pregnant. Isabel had a medical appointment, and they asked her to have an ultrasound in which a cyst in her uterus was diagnosed. The doctor who was watching her suggested surgery as soon as possible, but she was not convinced by what she had just heard. On that occasion, she went to the maternity hospital where they instructed her to undergo several exams and also an ultrasound. One of the exams confirmed that she indeed had a cyst, which that she could even feel it. The doctor transferred her to the other maternity hospital to be consulted by a specialist. But the specialist couldn't see her at that time because his appointment book was full. It was only in March 2020 that she had an appointment with him. He read every test she had ever taken and confirmed the existence of the cyst. Then Isabel was told that without surgery, she could never get pregnant. However, he advised her to take another exam that would allow her to know what she really had and then perform the surgery. She would like to emphasize that the exam right there cost 100,000 kwanzas, the Angolan currency, which it is a little over $150. But this means a significant amount for many in Angola. And she didn't have the mentioned amount, and she worry took over her. Desperate, she looked for her minister and completely opened her heart to him. On the occasion, she revealed that in 2013, she got pregnant with her current husband. Since at that time, they were just inexperienced high school sweethearts, she decided to have an abortion without his agreement. Even though she was a jury member, she knew she wasn't doing the right thing. However, the negative spoke louder in her, and she had the abortion. After 5 years of living together, no pregnancy occurred again. Thus, she was guided to make a donation of apology to God, to Meixo Sama, and her ancestors. She requested the Sorei Saishi, enshrinement of spirits, of her family line, of his family line, her husband's family line, of the aborted spirit, and she gave service for his or her elevation and dedicated to make other people happy, as the teaching is telling us today, the secret of happiness. At that time, she suffered a lot with comments from family and neighbors about her not bearing any children, which made it impossible for her to feel emotionally free to give herself in service. That's when she remembered Meixo Sama's teaching that says, gratitude gives birth to gratitude, and ingratitude creates more ingratitude. This is because gratitude reaches God, while ingratitude reaches dark forces. Isabel began studying this particular teaching, expressing her gratitude and surrendering her suffering into the hands of God and Meixo Sama, without caring what people thought of her. She had the constant thought, may God's will be done. In April 2020, she gained permission to materialize the apology donation to God, Meixo Sama, and her ancestors. After a month, she experienced a physical purification having bleeding. She felt concerned, consulted a doctor in order to undergo treatment to stop the bleeding. However, the doctor refused to treat her and advised her not to interrupt the natural process with any medication. After a month, the bleeding stopped. She thanked for the purification and communicated what happened to her minister. He told her Meixo Sama is in charge of everything and encouraged her to continue with the basic practices of our faith. Channeling 10 Joy a day, reading the teachings for 1 hour, making special daily donations, attending services online, constantly devoting herself to cleaning restrooms with the feeling of cleaning everything that was polluted inside her. Practicing self-jorei every day in the region of her uterus and offering prayers in synchronicity with the headquarters of Africa. So Isabel put all of this into practice, and in July 2020, she received the blessing of getting a job. After 3 weeks at work, she began to feel some abnormal symptoms. and decided to take a pregnancy test. By the grace of God and Meixo Sama, the test came back positive. She was already a month pregnant. At that moment, she was very happy with God's blessing, and as she no longer needed surgery. As she still hadn't earned her salary, she expressed her gratitude for these blessings with a regular donation. During the same period, she started to have another bleeding. She had an ultrasound, which was diagnosed as a risky pregnancy. As she already had her salary in her possession, this time she made a special donation. According to medical advice, she had to be on complete rest. She stopped working, and in the condition she was in, she doubled her daily monetary offering of gratitude. A month later, she had another ultrasound where it was found that the fetus was developing well. To express her gratitude to God and Meixo Sama of her own free will, she sold one of her belongings and made a special donation to give thanks for the blessing received. She complied with prenatal consultations until the ninth month. With that, she felt that she needed to thank God and Meixo Sama even more. As she had no values, she let go of attachment and sold one of her precious wigs. Once again, she made a special donation for the permission of having this purification and for Meixo Sama utilizing her. She then put her maximum effort through a donation, waiting only for the day of delivery without attachments and worries. Excuse me. On May 13, 2021, she went to the maternity ward for a prenatal consultation. When she was observed, it was noted that she would give birth on that same day. At that moment, she was apprehensive, and they told her to wait until the time was right for her. At 8 p.m., she gave birth to a beautiful girl named Priscilla Machiesi, which means joy. With this faith experience, she learned that Meixo Sama is really the Messiah awaited by humanity, doctor of doctors. With him, anything is possible. We just have to surrender and obediently comply with the guidance received in the voice of our ministers. She also learned that the basic practice of faith is the key to achieving happiness. Isabel is committed to awakening the greatest number of people to the path of salvation and continue to serve as an instrument of God in the divine work, participating in the construction of paradise on earth. She has the picture of Canon dedicated at her home, created her home garden, and continues expressing her gratitude by donating 10% of her earnings, in addition to daily donations and for the construction fund. Isabel is very grateful to God and Messiah Meixo Sama for the permission to be introduced to our church. To all ministers who have wisely given guidance, to the missionaries and members, she has her eternal gratitude. She also appreciates all those who attentively listen to her faith experience. And another topic today, in the month of December, we celebrate Meixo Sama's birthday service. As we members know, his birthday is on December 23rd. And here at our headquarters, we are going to celebrate it on the first Sunday of December, which is December 5th. We have 2 months to prepare ourselves for our most important service of the year. And how should be our preparation? We can prepare a list of all the blessings we received this year. Even the very small blessings also count. It is also good to include in this list all the purifications received and express our gratitude for them accordingly with a very special monetary offering. As we learn in our movement, purifications makes us stronger, wiser, and better prepared to serve God, Meishu Sama, and our communities in which we live. Another important list to be included are the names of the individuals we would like to guide, inspiring them to become Jorin members one day. Family, friends, co-workers, neighbors, etc. I will do my best to make such preparation for Meishu Sama's birthday, and I will pray you will be able to do the same. Thank you very much. Have a blessed rest of this Sunday and good mission to all of you. Thank you.
This concludes our service today. Thank you very much for joining us. We wish you a blessed day.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Michael. Congratulations.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Yama, Bel, Eli, Bel, Dave. Bye, everyone.
Ah, we like it. Congratulations, Mike.